Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's Sock here, back with another week for the WBE weekly recap for the Sword Division.
Got it right this week.
And I am joined by...
My name is JB Westside, and yeah, we got some really good games this week. Should be a fun one.
All I'm going to say right away, called it. That's all I'm going to say. We'll get to it when we get there. However, first, we have a couple of really interesting games to get into. And honestly, the game we're starting off with was fantastic. We are starting off with the Newcastle NIDOKINGS versus the South Texas SABLEYES, which is Patters versus In Vivid Color. And JB, go ahead.
All right. Patters brought a team of Tapu Koko, Swoobat, Terrakion, Snorlax, Mega Gyarados, and a Escavalier. Vivid brought a team of Hawlucha, Nidoking, Tapu Bulu, Moltres, Galvantula, and Mew.
Now, first off, shout out to Patters for putting his face cam in the bottom right. It makes it so much easier to see everything instead of the bottom left where it's blocking the Mons,
right,
or the top left where it's blocking a Mon in Team Preview. It just makes my life so much easier in making these slides.
Shout out to him for that, for sure.
But also, shout out, the swap on the Coco from the Z Moltres was awesome.
Yep. There's another double I really liked where Patters doubled on the Snorlax into Bulu. Or doubled. Love the Snorlax double on Bulu into Moltres. There we go. I wrote it stupidly, but yeah, it was a really cool play. The Bulu crit on Snorlax was massive, but yeah, I feel like Patters played the Snorlax really well to that point.
Yeah, Tapu Bulu became a Tapu Bully for this game.
Yep. Solid title.
However, one of the biggest things, in my opinion, was the high jump miss.
Yeah, that was...
That was brutal. I think Hawlucha could have done so much work at that point.
Yeah, there's a bit of revenge hacks there, because there's also the flame body on Gara that sucked. I believe there was also a revenge crit like right after that.
Yes. Yep.
Bro.
There was a lot of small things that made big waves in this game.
Yeah.
Although, shout out to Galvantula for doing things.
Yeah, I love the Galbring. The West vs coverage had a great matchup. Yeah, there's a really cool thing there for sure.
I love Galvantula, and whenever I see it do things, it's always so much fun to see because people don't think of it being too much. And then you realize Compoundized Thunder hits like a truck.
Yeah, it really does. But there was a really big misplay I felt on Vivid's side that sort of set him back. He set up rocks with Mew in front of a Mega Gyarados, give him a free Dragon Dance. Come on, man.
Yep.
Just with Willow. I don't remember if he had Willow, but like, come on, man. It's a Mega Gyarados. Maybe don't click rocks in front of it with a Mew.
What do we know?
Yeah, what do we know? We're just analysts. But I do really like the T-Bolt play on Coco into Swoobat. That was a great prediction by Vivid. In the end, it just came down to I really felt like Patters played that 2v2 in-game so well with Terrakion and Escavalier. Sacking when he needed to and just being able to clean up with Terrak was just a great game.
Yeah, Bulu did so much work. If Terrak didn't have Poison Jab, I think the game was over.
Yeah, for sure.
But in the end, Poison Jab Terrakion kind of came through, and Patters ended up taking the game 1-0. A really, really good game. I recommend watching this one, along with every other game.
Yep, absolutely. Go support all of our coaches.
Oh, absolutely. Be sure to support all of our coaches. Go check them out, leave likes on their videos, and comment, hey, this game was awesome. Or something to that effect. Then... The next game, though, is another really good one. You have the New York Marauders, however you say it, versus the Toronto TOGEKISS. So the Toronto TOGEKISS ended up bringing a team of Raikou, Whimsicott, Cobalion, Mega Absol, Uxie, and Latios. And Mr. Talent, the coach of the New York Marauders, brought Stunfisk, Nihilego, Mega Audino, Buzzwole, Gourgeist, and Ambipom. And JB, your Gourgeist did things.
It really did, dude. Tell me again why Frisk is the best ability in Draft League format. Like, it is, just period. Also, I gotta show love to Mr. Talent for the Stunfisk nickname. Shout out to Stupid Kid, best character in Hey Arnold. I just gotta show love for that.
Yeah, though I noticed that nickname. I'm like, I feel like JB gets this reference, but I don't.
I get that reference.
So
I like the Buzzwole set that Mr. Talent brought as well. Put in a lot of work. I believe it's just Scarf Buzzwole this week. Where's that listed? I don't remember.
Yeah,
but...
Scarf Buzzwole. It did so much work. I love Buzzwole so much. It always seems to find a set to come. Like you can run so many different things with that Mon, and on Talent's team, it is so good.
Yeah, it really is. It gives them a great ground check as well as just an all-around dark check. It's just a great Mon.
One thing I do want to point out, though, is how good T-Spike Nihilego was versus Mo's team. Like, when Mega Absol hadn't Mega already, Nihilego was kind of free just to set it up. However, the one big thing that everyone's going to point out was the Zen Headbutt miss.
Yeah.
It did seal the deal because it 2-code, as we saw. It did actually have a chance to kill Buzzwole at the percent it was at +1. I actually ran the calc with both their sets. It had a 31% chance to kill the Buzzwole since it was at 73%.
Damn.
So it was a roll, and he 2-code the rest of Talent's team. So if he did hit that, he would have to get the 31% chance roll, which is a Scald Burn, onto Buzzwole to kill that. And if he didn't, then the game was over because Buzzwole kills with Leech Life because it's a Buzzwole.
True. A couple things worth pointing out as well. Mr. Talent pointed out a lot that he was super scared of Cobalion, and that Mega Audino set he brought was just straight up set up on it. Didn't have taunt, didn't have any way of really hitting it. Don't really know how much I like about that set when you explained that you were so scared of Cobalion. I feel like he played around with Whimsicott a little bit too long as well. It just sort of sat in front of him and did, a lot of... It didn't really do much, but it just sort of sat there for a lot of turns. I feel like he could have got rid of that sooner. And the big one I want to point out is you brought Z Focus Punch on Ambipom specifically for the Cobalion. You predicted Cobalion to come in and U-turn. Just click Fake Out in the Z move. Like, you could get rid of Cobalion right there and not have to worry about it. Maybe if you're predicting Scarf, that's a different, scenario. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man.
Something to think about, but oh yeah.
Oh no, I can't really fault him too much because he ended up winning the game. So
yeah, and he played very, very well.
For sure. Both coaches did.
Shoutouts to Mega Audino doing things.
For sure. Shout out to John Jr. He loves that thing.
John Jr. with the plays. Anyway, another play was this next game. Hashtag I called it. We have the Free State TORRACATS coached by Duncan Can't Die versus the Milwaukee BEWEARS by WolfGlick.
This game. Oh my god.
Now, I want to shout out, I didn't think of the Jirachi set. However, I thought the Zygarde Pupper did so much work in this game.
No one thought of that Jirachi set except for Envy. But
yeah, Envy's just a mad
anyway,
lad. But
Duncan,
when I picked him,
go ahead.
Yeah, I picked Duncan just because of the third mon on this list, which he ended up bringing a team of Hitmontop, Mega Tyranitar, Zygarde 10%, Jirachi, Vikavolt, and Araquanid, while Wolf brought a team of Excadrill, Mega Blastoise, Tornadus Therian, Virizion, Mandibuzz, and Gengar.
Yeah, the main thing about this game, obviously, is, of course, the Jirachi set. Calm Mind, Thunder, Water Pulse, Rain Dance, Waterium Z. Good lord, EV to outspeed the Scarf Drill, which ended up coming, so just a great read there. I really actually also like the Iron Defense Vikavolt as well, which is solid.
That was really, really cool.
But yeah, aside from the overplay turn 1, I feel like Duncan played his Araquanid very well early, getting up a couple Toxic as well as a couple big hits on things. Really put Wolf behind early game. He had a tough time bringing them on and just really put him on the back foot early.
I think the hacks kind of hurt just a little bit.
Specifically the second Virizion Stone Edge miss was super unfortunate.
Yeah, I could sit there and say he didn't prep for a Calm Mind Jirachi, but honestly, not Calm Mind, Z Rain Dance Jirachi. Yeah. But honestly, that set isn't a thing. So like, who preps for it? Yeah, exactly. That's like not a set we think of. So you can't really fault Wolf for seeing that and be like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah, basically.
The Torn set was great.
The Torn set was phenomenal. AV Torn is just one of the best ones in format. Period. Like it's
Burb Gang.
Yeah. I really, speaking of plays, I really enjoyed Duncan's Jirachi prediction with Jirachi on the Torn switch late game. He predicted Wolf to try to waste rain turns and predicted that, clicked Water Pulse on the Excadrill and just did a ton of damage and was able to clean up the game from there.
Absolute beast play. He opened his third eye there. Zygarde did so much pressure in the late game that he couldn't really afford to let Torn go. On Wolf's side, however, once Torn got off the field, Zygarde Doggo just kind of won the game. For sure. Which was the main reason I picked Duncan, was because I saw Zygarde 10, and then I saw Wolf's team. Then I looked at Zygarde 10, and I picked the Pupper.
Fair enough. Honestly, we can't really argue with that. Wolfie, it just seemed like he had an off game, and then Duncan's team just worked to perfection. Like, it's just,
The biggest thing with me was the Gengar getting walled by a frickin' DDR player. like, dude. Okay. You're like a Gengar that gets walled by a Hitmontop is just, it just baffles me because Gengar has so much good coverage, like Psychic or Psyshock.
Yeah, so he gets
or Sludge Wave does a decent amount as well.
You get some Spidef drop with Shadow Ball, and that's a different story. But again.
Yeah, but like I can't really fault him because the team that Duncan brought was very, very much out there, and it worked. Some weeks it does, some weeks it doesn't, and it just happened to be in Duncan's favor this week.
For sure.
Next up here, we do have the Bronx Beartix versus the Milwaukee SAWSBUCKS.
All right. Joey ended up bringing a team of Kabutops, Toxapex, Comfey, Breloom, Gothitelle, and Mega Gallade. Magnitude brought a team of Azelf, Thunderous Therian, Politoed, Heatmore, Shiinotic, and Clefable.
Now, Joey, T-Sparks were such a good bring.
They really were.
Like, nothing on Steve's team wanted to really get rid of it.
Yeah.
Thunderous can defog, but it doesn't want to waste a moveset on it. Azelf can defog, but it was a lot better in other ways this week.
It doesn't get defog. It's just, it's off the ground, so it doesn't, care about T-Spikes. But I get what
that's what I meant. Sorry.
GlitchXCity
you guys
obviously
get
has
what I'm
Magic Guard
saying.
as well, but the rest, the rest of his team, just wear that down and don't really have to worry about it too much.
Yeah, one of the big things, Polytoad being worn down is just another wall.
Yeah.
Some other things he had, like his Mega Garchomp, gets worn down pretty easily by that. You don't want to see that standing on the field for a while.
He had a for this game, I believe, but he didn't bring it, so can't really fault you there.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
Nope.
He ended up bringing Rest Polytoad, so again, like, it wasn't, great this game, but I get what you're saying. Like, T-Spikes obviously, of course, great wearing everything down in general. But again, I just feel like this is once again a masterclass of Joey knowing his win con and having a game plan and executing it to perfection.
Yep, Joey saw his opportunity and he snagged it.
Yes.
Like, we can't fault him.
Yep.
However, if there's one thing I am gonna say was so cool, was the Heatmore set.
The Heatmore set was great. Steve's team in general was wild this week, dude. The pair strapping Polytoad worked, getting rid of Toxapex, not having to deal with that thing was phenomenal. The Peli Drum Psyche MZ Clefable. If he got that thing set up behind screens, it was GG. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like,
It was over.
That's a destroy Joey's team.
Oh my god, that legit
yeah.
won. if it got the chance to go
Yeah,
off.
but Joey didn't
yeah,
get thrown
like-
off by the crazy sets and still executed
No.
his game plan perfectly, and that's what we come to expect from Joey at this point.
Yeah, honestly, Joey just plays so solid. He plays kind of, I'm going to quote, on the back foot for most of the game until he sees his opening and then takes his step and wins.
Yep.
Joey knows when to put the foot to the pedal and pedal to the gas, and when he does, it's over. Like, he just takes control of the game so quickly, and he starts reading every play.
I believe his end game was to try to go for Comfey Sweep again, but Kabutops just ended up killing everything anyway, so didn't really need to, because Kabutops was just sort of a monster in this matchup, so yeah.
It did so much work.
Yeah, it just killed everything, man.
Sacking Shiinotic early on kind of was not the quote-unquote wave, in my opinion. Keeping Shiinotic in the back would have been nice just to keep around for the Comfey, just to have something to check that, and the Kabutops.
Yeah.
However, I can see why he sacked it that early on.
Didn't really have another switch into Glade at that point, really. Like,
No, he didn't, and I can't blame him. Maybe like Heatmore, but
yeah.
Heatmore did so much work you want to drop that. Like, there's nothing he really could do, but it's just something I'd like to see him sack something else possibly, but I completely understand where he's coming from in that situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving into our next game, we have a doozy.
Yeah.
We have the Rochester RHYDONS versus the Tennessee TRUBBISH, which is Iron Boffin for the RHYDONS and Deathly I Am for the TRUBBISH. Now, Deathly ended up bringing a team of Gligar, Emboar, Mega Beedrill, Rotomo, Celesteela, and Gardevoir. And Boffin brought a team of Suicune, Weavile, Blaziken, Jolteon, Metagross, and Mega Altaria.
Natural gift, Weavile. Respect.
Yeah, I love Natural Gift. Whenever it's brought, I always respect it.
Yeah, absolutely. He brought Natural Gift Electric to hit Selly. He, I gotta shout out that set for sure.
That set was so good.
I also, respect the Scarf Blaziken bring. It just sort of got a kill if it got in for free.
Keyword if.
Yeah, if. Quick Feed Jolteon is always a cool bring, and something that this is just like a personal thing for me. Don't run a positive nature and then not invest in that set. That's just something that irks me because you're just sort of wasting EVs. But again, maybe if he needed a specific calc that he didn't say in his team builder, that's different. But I didn't see anything personally, and yeah, I don't particularly agree with that sort of building.
And that's fine. Each coach builds their own way. It's just kind of how we see it. And if you guys see something different way, be sure to leave it in the comments down below. However, round 2, God! Gligar picking up 3 kills this game.
Yeah, it just sort of is another sort of scenario where he just sort of left it there and didn't kill it and was just able to click buttons. And it ended up, just chipping stuff down with it quick and picking it off.
JB said it last week. Gligar either sits in front of you and doesn't die, or it dies turn 2.
Yeah, basically.
Like, there's no difference with Gligar, and this week it did the set that did Deathly the best.
Yep.
Also, Mega Beedrill doing things. Yes!
Mega Beedrill's a great mon. I liked his aggressive switch into it on the Altaria roost, but then T-Spike happened and he, took like 80%. Even though it didn't end up mattering, it just sort of would have liked to see him just kill the thing, but I mean, T-Spike sort of came in to help him later at that point, but yeah.
I really didn't enjoy Suicune bring this week. There's just too many things, in my opinion, to stop it. Things like Rotom, the Gardevoir with, as we saw, Encore. Banded Embor with Wild Charge. Yeah, like there's a lot of things to stop Suicune from setting up and doing things. I don't think it was a great bring versus Deathly's team. He could have brought maybe more of a spec set. Could have done some decent work.
Something like that.
That's
maybe,
neither here nor there.
He had a couple like misplays late. I feel like Suicune definitely could have brought that game back, but when Boffin sacked the Blaziken, I feel like that was where he lost the game. Because if your plan was to set up on Gligar, you had a free Suicune there. You just switched your Blaziken in to take an earthquake for no reason. The Gligar had its EV light knocked off at that point. You could just, start combining in front of it. If he ended up having Toxic, then he ends up having Toxic. That was your opportunity to really start setting up with your Suicune, and you just sort of missed that play, which is unfortunate. But it happens.
Yep, it happens, and I look to see Boffin bounce back next week.
Yep.
Going into our next game, in my opinion, one of the more interesting games of the week, the Pittsburgh Pichus, coached by NumNexus, versus the New Orleans Pelippers, coached by Pokemon 7.
Pokemon ended up bringing a team of Salamence, Slowbro, Mega Dancy, Diggersby, Mudstell, and Salazzle. Nexus ended up bringing a team of Exploud, Swampert, Zapdos, Mega Metachamp, Tangrowth, and Dewblade.
Oh, wow. Exploud.
This was a weird game.
Yes, I didn't really see too many good switch-ins to, Specs Exploud.
And he said it even in his team builder that he didn't really have them. But his switch-in, which I gotta show respect to the Mudstell set always, I love it. He ended up bringing Chillin' Berry with Close Combat. Chillin' Berry, for those of you who don't know, has any normal hit, one-time use berry. It's like a normal resist berry, basically. But yeah,
for a one-time use. Yeah. It's really, really cool tech.
It's like his only thing.
Yeah, the horse did horse things. I wish you could have done more horse things.
Yeah, he said that he didn't want to not use Mudstell as a switch into Zapdos, only to save it, but it ended up, being that he needed Mudstell to check Exploud, and then Exploud ended up just sort of killing everything because he didn't have Mudstell's tech there to keep him alive.
One of the things I kind of noticed was he was kind of on the back foot, John.
Yeah.
Was kind of on the back foot from Team Preview.
Yeah, he really was. I just feel like he really didn't have a lot of confidence in this matchup, and it really showed. Specifically in the leads, he ended up getting the lead wrong, and that put him on the back foot immediately. Leading Slowbro versus Zapdos was rough. I do really like his Salazzle set, though. Subtoxic Salazzle is always a great set, in my opinion. I also really like his Mega Dancy bring. It went in
that was
once
cool.
He got rid of Pert. It's the only thing that really ate 2 hits, but yeah, again, it's just he didn't really have much for a freaking Exploud.
One of the things I do want to point out, though, was Mega Dancy trying to kill the Duo Blade.
Yeah.
With, I think you clicked Earth Power, Duo Blade lived, and clicked Gyro Ball, however you say it. Depends on who you are, but yeah, I think you could have gotten more chip damage on that, but what do I know?
Yeah. A couple things, I really like Sleep Powder physical. I assume it was physically defensive. Tangrowth, I really like Sleep Powder on that. It was a good play, caught John off guard. Something I do want to point out was giving Salamence a Moxie boost was super risky. Yeah. If he ended up losing that speed tie with Zapdos, I'm pretty sure Nexus just lost the game because John didn't have Rock Slide. But yeah, that was just super risky. It didn't end up mattering because he also had Mega Metachamp to force a speed tie there. But again, if you lose both speed ties, I'm pretty sure Minch just wins that game. But, I mean, hey, don't have to worry about that in this timeline because it didn't happen.
Yeah. Can I just point out, Nexus's bulk is disgusting. Like, Swampert, Tangrowth, Zapdos.
Yeah, it's just so hard to break. It's gross.
In a normal 16-man league, that's disgusting. Yeah. And he got it in this 28-man league.
That's a little bit baffling.
It's... baffling, yes, and this team is just disgusting. And the more I watch Nexus play, the more I really like his team, and he's kind of getting used to it more now that it's week 3. He's kind of understanding what he can do with it, and honestly, I could see Nexus making a run here.
For sure, would love to see that, obviously. Yeah, just a great job, forcing Mudstell sack and just opening the door for Exploud to kill all the things. Great play all around.
Absolutely. And speaking of great play all around, we're going to hop into our last match of the week. The Los Angeles Spice, coached by KCray, versus the Minnesota VIKAVOLTS, coached by Dan, a.k.a. A-Drive.
Alright, Dan ended up bringing a team of Mega Manetric, Skarmory, Lycanroc Dusk, Gastrodon, Kyurem Black, and Passimian. KCray ended up bringing a team of Garchomp, Mimikyu, Porygon 2, Magnezone, Crobat, and Mega Houndoom.
Now, Dan, the Kyurem set was great. Otherwise, Mimikyu did go in.
Yeah, it really did. Scarf... Kyurem Black just sort of, clicking Iron Head, clicking, but Kyurem Black just clicks buttons in general, but having a set that, gets rid of Mimikyu, which is one of the biggest stats of Dan's team, just being able to get rid of that thing was, at any point, was great. Something I also like was, Double Scarf is always just a really cool ring, in my opinion. It's something I love doing personally. It just sort of throws your opponent off that like you don't like, oh, that thing's Scarf. You stop bringing another Scarf, and then you can just snag a kill like having a double Scarf. Well, that's something that's always fun.
I did like taking the risk and close combating on the potential Scarf Garchomp the first time.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
He ended up scouting for it the second time with Pissimian. It was a cool play. Something I want to point out in team building, like Dan said that he didn't expect K-Cray to know that Terrible worked like Mold Breaker and went through disguise, and then K-Cray said it in her video, so it confirmed she's smarter than A-Drive. Just want to point that out.
A pretty straightforward hyper offense from K-Cray. The Magno Sentence, that was cool.
Yeah, Scarf Analytic, forcing switches, yeah, obviously you'd predict, a Magnet Pulse set with Skarmory on the other team, but, that force that, switch there and then get a big hit off with Analytic. Magnets are doing a ton of damage to something on the switch. Solid play there. Something I really like how K-Cray played this game. She knew Gastrodon was Rindo and didn't get baited back turn 1 against Magnezone and ended up, switching out and, not getting baited into sacking her Magnezone turn 1 was a good play. Yeah, go ahead.
The Toxic overplay on Skarm kind of sucked.
Yeah, it really did sort of put her back. Like, she clicked Toxic on, I believe, the Pissimian Gastrodon. She clicked Toxic on something and Dan went Skarm. Sort of unfortunate.
She could have won as well if she Trick Roomed on the Skarmory.
Yeah.
It did so much work against
specifically
Dan.
If it had lived the second Iron Head after having Disguise broken, that was it was a 2v1 at that point with
Pissimian and
Kyurem and Lycanroc Life. Had she, of course, just being able to live that second Iron Head after having Disguise broken, I feel like it really could have put in work there, because then at that point she would outspeed both the things left and being able to one-shot both Kyurem and Pissimian.
And it would have just won because Play Rough kills both of those pretty easily.
Yeah,
unless Kyurem, keyword assuming you hit. Hacks is a win.
Hacks is a win con.
But yeah. That is our side of the recaps for this week. JB, any words for the folks?
Hashtag disable adblock as always. But yeah, thank you guys for the support. It's been wild, and yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so very much for all the positive comments. I love reading them. But yeah, if you guys, like I always say, if you guys are wondering where the other half of the games are, Jacob, as always, and Dr. Slacking have you covered. Be sure to check back on the WBE channel. Click that bell so you get notified when that goes up, by the way. I don't think we've said that yet.
We're not used to this, okay?
No, we're not used to having, a giant audience. Be sure to follow JB on Twitter.
Please. I like memes.
Everyone loves memes. But yeah, again, thank you all so very much for the overwhelming amounts of support that we get. With that, we are going to get out of here today, guys. And peace out, Scouts.
Peace.